Stafford's got it. Looks, loads, throws, deep middle. And he's caught! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Oh, Kenny Golladay, that's outstanding! That is outstanding! Oh, 31 yards, and the Lions have the lead for the first time today. Stafford put that on a rope.
There was a heck of a throw, and Dan Miller with a great call on the Lions radio network as the Lions beat the Chargers and now move on to take on the Eagles in Philadelphia in week number 3. And the quarterback in his 11th season with the Detroit Lions, Matthew Stafford, back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Matthew?
I'm doing good, Rich. How are you doing?
I am good. All right, family first. How's your wife? How's she doing?
She's doing good. I appreciate you asking.
Of course.
You know, she's been a warrior, been battling through all that stuff, but she's feeling really good, and it's nice to have her feeling pretty normal again.
I bet. And has she been to a game? I mean, how back to life is she right now?
Yeah, she's back to normal enough to be at games. She was at the first home game this past weekend, and it was great to have her there. It was nice, obviously, winning the game and getting to see her afterwards, and she was happy and excited. So those people that don't know her, don't see her every day, probably would say she looks just about normal. So I'm happy for that.
And how much of an outpouring did you get? I mean, walk me through what you received from the fan base of the great people of that great state of Michigan and maybe Georgia or wherever you've set foot, Matthew.
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible. You know, I know we got a bunch of calls and letters in to, you know, the facility here in Detroit, and they were nice enough to pass those along to me. And then I think Kelly, through her social media stuff, got just, I don't even know how much, I'm not on it, but a ton of support. People have been, you know, great and gracious to us about that, and everywhere we go, it's kind of nice now. Everybody used to come up and talk to me about the game on Sunday. Now they just go up and talk to her, and I get a free pass. So it's great.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it's all trending upward, and it's all good. And your family's great, and you've got your mindset on football, which clearly worked out well for you this weekend. Your relationship that you're having on the field with Kenny Golladay seems to improve and get stronger every week. How does that work from your standpoint, Matthew?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, I think along with Kenny, I mean, all our guys, we put in so much work during the weeks. You know, so much time with each other, so much hard work out on the practice field, and that's just trusting that preparation and going out there and letting it fly on Sunday. There are plays in that game I want back, no question, but I thought we played great situational football when we had to have it late in the game, whereas probably week 1 we played better early in the game and didn't finish it. So it was nice to finish the game off the right way on offense, and then obviously Slay with the huge pick on defense, and we were able to close it out. So it's just through hard work, a bunch of work together, a bunch of time together, and just in going out there and trusting that.
And your fellow SEC backfield mate in Kerryon Johnson, I mean, he had one maneuver or series of maneuvers this week that was remarkable. I don't know how he does it. I'm wondering what level of improvement you've seen from him.
He's been great. You know, I think he did a great job coming back from his injuries at the end of the year last year, and you know, he just kind of picked up where he left off. Had a great play on a screen pass earlier in the game. Scored a touchdown there, and then I know which one you're talking about, twisting and turn for about an 11 or 12-yard game, but it was some pretty impressive stuff. So he's got a ton of talent, and you know, we'll continue to you know, try and get him the ball and let him do his thing.
11th season for Matthew Stafford here on the Rich Eisen Show. And, you know, so much discussion being made about how difficult your division is. And interestingly enough, you mentioned your wife's social media feed. It played into the conversation that, you know, a lot of folks are having about this division as to who will win it based on how well they chug a beer, Matthew. And I'm wondering how much stock you put in all that, because it seems that everybody has been on some form of a video chugging a beer in that division at the quarterback spot.
Yeah, I don't put much stock into it. It was a little bit more of an off-season thing, but no, it is a tough division. It is a tough division. We've got great defenses, great quarterbacks. You know, it's a tough one to get wins, and you know, there's a bunch of players in this league that are top-flight players in the league, and a bunch of organizations that are really good as well. So it's tough.
Okay, so again, back to the beer stuff though. How much of a veteran are you at this? Because again, we're seeing We're seeing you.
I mean, I feel good about my game in that area, but
Okay.
it doesn't matter too much right now.
Okay, no, really, just one beer at a time and hope for the best. That's what you just did to me right there. Okay, very good. And it's interesting too, Matthew. You know, today obviously the news in the NFL is Eli Manning has been sat down by the Giants after all these years, and I'm wondering, you're 31 years old. Do you think at all about your end game whatsoever of your career?
Not really. You know, I just I feel like I'm still young enough to keep playing for quite a while. You know, the biggest thing for me is just health. If you can stay healthy and play at a high level, then I'd love to keep playing. Eli's been a fantastic quarterback in this league for a long time. Guy's got a couple Super Bowls. He's a great player. You know, that's a tough decision, I'm sure, for the organization. I got a lot of respect for what he's done and how he's played. You know, for quite a long time.
Who was your mentor growing up or at Georgia or even that you've had in Detroit, Matthew? Who was that guy for you?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people along the way. I had a quarterback coach at Georgia, Mike Bobo, that was really influential on my growth as a quarterback. He's now the head coach at Colorado State. You know, a bunch of people along the way. I've been lucky enough to have a bunch of great backup quarterbacks and veteran guys. Drew Stanton early in my career, Sean Hill as well, Dan Orlovsky, some guys that are really influential when I was young to really help me know what it's like to be a pro quarterback and how to go about your business and all that kind of stuff. So I was lucky. And
this week, you know, you and I have something in common, Matthew. Not just any old week. What we have in common is we're both going to be rooting very hard against Notre Dame because just that's the way I'm wired as a Michigan Wolverine.
Perfect.
And this week, your Georgia Bulldogs take that squad on. Will you watch that game in Philadelphia? Do you already have this already mapped out a little bit for you this weekend?
I will try and catch it, no question. That's a big one. I know we played there either last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember. I think it might have been 2 years ago, but it was a great game. I think Georgia kind of bought a bunch of seats and came out strong. So it'll be interesting to see if Notre Dame tries to repay the favor. But it'll be a great game. I'm excited. I know it's a huge deal in Athens right now that they're going to be game day and all that stuff. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you speak to Jake Fromm? Have you been mentoring him in any way, shape, or form?
I don't speak to him too much, to be honest with you. I'm some old guy he's probably barely ever heard of.
Oh,
but,
come on now. Come on now.
But no, I haven't spoken to him too much. I've met him before, been out there, but I don't keep in contact with some of those guys.
Okay, and then with the Dodgers getting set for postseason play, at some point when Kershaw's on the mound, we'll invariably hear the well-known fact that you went to high school together. So when did you first meet Clayton Kershaw? I've never asked you this. I'd love to get into that relationship. Do you remember the first time you ever strolled up to Clayton?
I mean, I think we had to have been probably on a soccer field when we were 5, 6 years old, something like that.
Really?
Yeah. We met, I think, playing on the same old Blue Bombers soccer team, and then ended up playing a bunch of baseball together, a bunch of basketball together, a bunch of football together. So I've known him for a really long time, and I've really enjoyed watching his career. It's been really impressive. They got a really good team this year, so I'm excited.
He's a good dude, man. I mean,
the best.
He really
is.
I'm serious. Like, and I'm not just saying because I know you're tight and you're on the phone right now.
Yeah.
He lives in the area where I go trick-or-treating with my kids every year. Mm-hmm. And I was dressed as Mr. Incredible with my kids last year and strolled up. And who was the guy handing out candy on the driveway but Clayton Kershaw? And
yeah,
I don't know if
it's pretty cool.
I don't know if I'd ever met him before. And he was really cool for a guy who was dressed as Mr. Incredible saying hello to him. You know, it was it was really odd.
Yeah, he's super down to earth guy, great guy, and obviously an unbelievable athlete and all that, but a great family man. Obviously does a bunch with charity as well. So I know he's doing a great job for the community there.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Hey, before I let you go, you had a front row seat, I imagine, at some point to see Kyler Murray or just peek out on the field. He's the first guy since Cam to throw for 300 yards in his first 2 games. I'm wondering what your impression of that, the first overall selection, like you have something in common there. What your first impression of him was?
I was really impressed. We got up in that game. He did a great job bringing his team back. Made some great plays late in the game. He's ultra talented. I think he's got a system that fits him really well. He obviously knows it. Played a bunch of ball in it in college, so he's got that advantage going for him, and got a Hall of Fame receiver that he can throw it to. So I think some good things are ahead for him and that team.
Yeah, and he, like you, started from jump, game one, straight out of the chute, first overall selection. With Daniel Jones now getting out there, obviously it's week 3, and we know how sometimes guys sit and wait. Did it help you to be thrown right out there right away, Matthew?
I think so, but I think everybody's different, and I know that it's worked both ways. Guys have played for a long time, been really successful after waiting a few years. I know guys have been really successful after, starting day one. So it's kind of, up to the organization, up to the team and the head coach at that time. And I was happy to keep playing because I had really never missed a season for a long time. So I was ready to get out there and play, and I took my lumps, no question, and learned from them.
Matthew, thanks for the call. I'm glad to hear about your wife doing so well, and I was thinking of you and your family at that time, and just thrilled to see everything working out so well.
I really appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. That's Matthew Stafford, Lions quarterback, right here on The Rich Eisen Show.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download The Rich Eisen Show app.